Hey my friends, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Denise. I'm also known as heywigsister on Instagram and Facebook. Today I am here with episode 7 of my new wig wearers series. In this episode, we are going to talk about styling wigs. I am going to show you some products and accessories that I think are must-haves for a wig wearer if you want to have the most flexibility with your wigs. And I hope by the end of this video you will have gained not only some ideas and confidence in styling your synthetic wigs, but this will have opened up some possibilities for you to make some purchases that you might not have considered making in the past. And why I think that's important is because when we are trying to wear wigs and do the wig life on somewhat of a budget, it can be super helpful to purchase wigs that are on sale or wigs that are being sold by wig sisters at deep discounts. So the more skills you have in working with your wigs, the more flexibility you will have in the pieces that you can actually purchase. So if this interests you, please stick around for the rest of this video and let's go on this journey together. All right, I am going to cover a lot of information in this video, but all I can really do is touch the surface of what's possible when it comes to working with your wigs, styling them, and making them your own. I highly recommend that you check out my playlist. It's called Tip Tuesday, and in that playlist on my channel you will find all the videos that I have done to date that give you different wig wearing tips. A lot of what I'm just going to touch the surface of today are I have already done a video in my Tip Tuesday series on many of these topics, and some are yet to come. So I can't, without making this video hours long, I really truly can't touch on every single thing. So I'm gonna kind of whet your appetite and help you start to think creatively and realize there's so much that you can do with wigs. I know for me personally, in the beginning of my journey, I barely could put a wig on. I couldn't even imagine styling a wig, thinning a wig, cutting lace, and then to find out that there's ways that I can put wigs in updos that look really natural. I just think in the beginning, this is also foreign, that any information is good. But if this is an area that you're especially interested in, then I really encourage you to subscribe to my channel so that you can see whenever I launch a tutorial video with a wig wearing tip. I do try to do that most Tuesdays, but you know, it all depends on a lot of things. And so I just say kind of keep your eye out for things or make requests. I absolutely take requests for videos. You can put it in the comments. You can email me at heywigsister@gmail.com. If we're connected on Instagram or Facebook, you can message me on one of those platforms. And every time I get a request, I add it to a list. And then whenever I'm looking to make a Tip Tuesday or another video, I kind of go to that list and see if there have been requests made, because I want to make things that are going to be helpful to you. So requests are really helpful. So right now, I just want to talk about some basic tools and accessories that I think you should work on accumulating. One of my biggest goals in this whole thing is that I try to keep in mind we all come from a different place financially, and I try to give you ideas and tips that are going to be helpful regardless of your financial situation. I am not here to sell you expensive products, and honestly, sometimes when I get an opportunity to pick a wig for review, which isn't very often, usually if I'm sent a wig, I'm sent just whatever they want to send me. But I also keep in mind that not everybody can afford super expensive wigs. So I'm always trying to do things that are going to help you and get you the most bang for your buck. So please keep in mind, as I'm showing you all of these, I'm not trying to sell you a whole bunch of things you don't need. I'm seriously looking at what I think are going to be very useful and for the most part even essential, just that will help your wig wearing journey go so much more smoothly. And I will put links in the description to anything that I show that I can actually find online. If I can get it to be an affiliate link where I get a little bit of a bonus if you buy it, that's what I use, because then I use that money to help me with my channel. I have a lot of expenses coming at me doing these reviews and doing these tutorials, so any little bit helps. And I will just tell you that my Amazon affiliate links do not make me much money. I think the most I've ever gotten in 1 month from those is like $34 and some cents. So I really don't make a ton off of these purchases, but every little bit helps. So I just want that disclaimer out there. So let's talk about a few really essential products that I think over time you should work on accumulating. This is not something you can wear wigs without owning any of these. I have just found in my experience, it makes it a lot more fun and gives me a lot more flexibility. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is a wig grip. I don't wear wig grips. I've already covered what you can put underneath a wig in a previous video in this series, but I will tell you that a wig grip can be helpful when you're styling a wig. If you're going to be pulling a wig up into an updo, into a ponytail, and messing around with it a lot, I do find that this helps so that it doesn't slip around when I'm doing that. Now, most of the time I adhere my wigs with It Stays, but there are occasions if I'm just going to run out and run a quick errand and I want to throw a wig in a ponytail, then I might throw a wig grip on just for that purpose. So a wig grip is really helpful. Even if you don't wear it most of the time, you can still have it on hand. Another what I believe to be an essential tool in the wig wearing journey is a thinning razor. I have covered how to use this in previous videos, and I plan to do a lot more videos because I find this to be extremely beneficial to my wig wearing journey in so many cases. So a thinning razor is super helpful. I really personally love this one. I've tried quite a few and I really love this one, so I will link this one in the description. And this can be used not only to thin wigs that maybe are too heavy, but it can also be used to cut a few little wispies when you're going to wear wigs and updos so that you can hide your bio hair and hide the line of the wig. And I do have a Tip Tuesday on that. So definitely need one of those, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. I would also say thinning shears can be really, really helpful. Although I find I use this a lot more than these. This is for like major thinning. This is for just some fine, kind of fine enhancing around the face. And I will link the thinning shears that I purchased as well. I find these to be more useful than a straight scissors because I'm just not skilled with the straight scissors. But you will find that if you learn how to thin a wig, which I will actually do a full Tip Tuesday on that. I have a wig to do that with. You will be able to buy more wigs that maybe wouldn't work for you without thinning. Some just accessories that I think are super, super helpful are claw clips. I actually have a video where I think I titled it like my #1 accessory or something like that. And it really are claw clips. I'm going to try not to drop them. So many claw clips in all kinds of sizes. I have giant ones. I have itty bitty, teeny tiny little ones that I can barely work with my arthritic fingers. And they are so useful. I've shown in videos how you can reduce poof in a wig just by using a little claw clip to kind of clip a part of it down. They're so handy. I think for sure claw clips are going to be helpful. Even if you don't like the way it looks when you can see a wig clipped up, if you're ever overwhelmed by hair, a little claw clip is going to help with that. Bobby pins I think are super, super handy, and every wig I purchase comes with a bobby pin or two where they've like bobby pinned it to the box, and so keep those, and those can be really helpful. Another item that I find super, super essential, and I'll get into the styling, I just want to sort of table set with these accessories, are these super soft pony holders. I will link these. I find these to be so good. They hold wigs really well, and they have no hard edges, and they're so soft that they don't damage the fibers. And I really love throwing a wig in a low pony, which I will show in this video, and I think those can be so, so helpful. I also think like a pinking shears is helpful because if you ever need to cut the lace, You can use a straight scissors. I have a whole tip Tuesday on how to cut the lace. So pinking shears are my preference, but just any scissors that you can cut the lace would be helpful. I also find having a headband or two is super useful. I do wear wigs with headbands often, and so I have a couple kinds that I really love. The first one is just these. They're just like regular headbands. They look like they have a bandana wrapped around them, and they work with wigs so well. I have a number of videos where I show these, and these will be linked in the description. They are great with all lengths of wigs and can really change up your look in a pinch. The other kind of headband that I recommend and I use a lot are just these cloth headbands. They're, you know, you can scrunch them up and they can be really great, especially with curly wigs that are overwhelming to you. I love to put a super curly wig into a little low pony or a clip and then put a headband on and then arrange all the curls all around it. It really helps make a super curly wig more wearable. So if you've made a purchase in the past and you were overwhelmed by that wig and it's just sitting in a box, accessorizing and styling that wig may make it wearable. And I have a Envy Bianca is a wig that I purchased early in my journey, and I loved it in pictures, but when I got it, the curls were so crazy, wild, and so many of them, I couldn't wear it. Once I discovered that I could put it in like a low pony with a headband, it became one of my favorite ways to wear that wig, and I considered it my headband wig. So just those are some basic accessories that I think you should own. There's tons more, but I think, you know, having a few of each of these is going to give you the maximum flexibility. So in this next segment, I think I'm going to start showing you how to do some basic styling. I'm not going to get into thinning and trimming and all of that because I think those need a little bit more focus and time. And if I have some videos that talk about those things, I will link them in the description. There's going to be a lot of links in this description. I might even put a blog post out about this. So hang on, we're going to go do some styling. All right, I'm here with scenario number one. Let's just say you purchased a wig that is too short for you or too poofy for you or both. Well, you could put her in a box. She could live in a box for as long as you'll let her, or you can try different styling techniques to make her wearable. In this example, I am wearing Henry Margaux Jewels. This is in the color 10-613R, and this wig is actually on loan from a wig sister. So I believe that Jewels is a wig that many people think looks super cute on others. Maybe you'll see reviews of Jewels on someone and think, oh my gosh, I love Jewels. I want Jewels. Jewels is a beautiful, fairly shortish, curly, voluminous wig. Jewels has a lot of permatease. She also has a spectacular lace front, which is going to allow you to do a lot with her. I got Jewels from a wig sister a while ago, and I still have days when Jewels is too poofy for me or too short for me. I think an updo like I have, and I'll show you all around, and I'll take the updo down so you can see what I did and what Jewels looks like before she's put up. But the thing with Jewels is she does take some getting used to. She can feel really poofy. She can sometimes feel too short if you're not used to short hair. But when you put a wig up, all of those things magically disappear, at least for me. And Jewels lends herself so well to these kinds of updos, especially with her beautiful waves and curls. So first, let's take a look at Jewels from all sides. And I opted to go with multiple clips and a really kind of messy, casual updo. Now tell me if anybody would think this is a wig. Let me get a little closer. Can you see anywhere a giveaway that this is a wig? I don't think you can. And that is what is so awesome, is you may be worried that people will know that you're wearing a wig, but the reality is, first of all, most people aren't that observant. Second of all, anybody who isn't used to wigs or doesn't wear wigs is never going to know that you can actually put a wig in an updo like this. That's never going to occur to them. So let me take this down. First of all, I have multiple clips. I have a clip over here. I have a big claw clip in the back, and somewhere over here I've got a couple of little clips to clip up some stray curls. So I just strategically placed clips wherever I needed to, and it was a work in progress. I started with this side, then I moved to this side, and I just kept putting clips in till I liked what I saw and she was manageable. And so this is perfect because it's flexible. You can do as much or as little as you want. You can do headbands, you can do scarves, just anything to tame the poof if that's what you're struggling with, and kind of put it up so that the length isn't an issue for you. So let's take a look. Sorry, I'm gonna cough here. My throat suddenly got very dry. So first of all, clip number 1. Excuse me. So I'm gonna pull these clips out now. That's it. And that's Jules without clips. I love Jules, and like I said, sometimes she's perfect, sometimes she's too much for me. Days like that, I love to put her up. Another great thing about synthetics is this curl will stay no matter what you do. If you had clipped your own bio hair up like that, you would have kinks and different things in different places that maybe aren't supposed to be there. That doesn't happen with synthetic. Unless you leave clips or updos in for long periods of time, you could get something called cold crimping, but that's not going to happen in just a day. So you could wear your hair like that during the day, and then you could take the clips out at night, put a little water in her, scrunch her up, a little product. Now you have a whole new look. So this is perfect for traveling. If you need to go somewhere and bring a wig, you'll have a lot of flexibility by styling. All right, let's move on to example number 2. Okay, so style number 2 is Renee of Paris Shane. This is a short style, and you may think that you can't really style short wigs, but that is not true. I find short wigs to have tons of styling flexibility, especially with accessories. So let's just talk about that a little bit. Now, I love to do little claw clips with short styles, and so especially if you've got a lace front like Shane has, because then you can just pull it up off of your face, and you can, just put a little clip, and that can change the look. But one of the fun things I like to do is use multiple clips and just kind of do some messy twists all throughout the wig. And you can do as few or as many and then get such a fun, different look out of a wig. I think especially with a lace front, that is such a great styling option. I also think headbands work so well with these short wigs. So you can just take it, you grab a headband here, grab a dark one so you can really see it. And then you can do it however you'd like. You can just put it and leave all of it down, or you can take and you can tuck kind of behind the ear for just a very polished, and then you can kind of poof out the back. Using like Peace Out cream or some sort of styling cream can also help with that. You can put the front up. Now this one I'm going to struggle because I don't have it adhered and I don't have a wig grip on. I tend to pull it off of my head whenever I try to do styling. So that's the challenge I have when it's not adhered. But you could, pull the front back and then even just leave some wispies down in the front. I think headbands are so great. You can use a full headband if you want to. versus one of these. I find these with shorter wigs to be a lot easier to work with, because then you don't have to worry about it pulling up the back if you've got something that goes all the way around your head. But a bandana that you tie in the back, and then you can leave a little bit of the hair down over it, works really good as well. And then you also don't have then the tension of an elastic band pulling that up. So I think short wigs have a lot of potential. They respond really well to using a lot of styling cream. So you could definitely like put cream and you know, wig hairspray in and get it really messy. So I definitely think if you are curious about short styles, but you're not sure if you can wear them, knowing that you might be able to style it up to look a little different could be really helpful. The other thing I find that got me a little bit more comfortable with short styles in the beginning, when I first got a short wig and I didn't like the way I looked with it at all, I found if I wore it with a scarf or a turtleneck or something that came all the way up around my neck, it made the short style look so cute on me. And so I encourage you that if you wear a lot of scarves or a lot of high-necked clothing in the winter, think about getting a short style. Not only will the short style handle that a little bit better than longer styles because it won't rub up on the clothing, but it just changes the look a little bit, and you don't notice the shortness of the wig as much when clothes come all the way up to it. So definitely consider getting a short style and then working with some of the styling possibilities. It's one of my favorite things now. I couldn't do it in the beginning, and now I love it. Let's move on to something else. All right, so curly styles are one of my favorite for styling. I absolutely love the flexibility of using clips all throughout a curly style to give it a different look. This is Jamila Plus in the color Bernstein Rooted. It's an Ellen Villa wig, and this one is really wild and crazy. Tons and tons of curls, and I definitely have a review of this one out there. And I don't, quite frankly, I don't wear it like this. I just am not super comfortable with it down, but I love this wig up in a headband. So this is a good one to use just a bandana for. So this is just a regular bandana, you know, the kind of the square bandana. And all I do is I fold it into a triangle, and then I do a bunch of folds, and I fold it, so that I get it into more of a headband shape. And so Jamila, I mean, you can do this any way you want to. Sometimes it's easier. Let me grab a pony holder to get her up in the back. First, you can do a pony holder, you can do a claw clip, sort of whatever you want. So just get it up first. And then you can take the bandana. I just noticed this bandana has a giant hole in it. So you'll be doing all of the arranging of the hair once you've got the bandana on. So just tying it around in the back. You could also do it the opposite way and put the tie up front. But then what you're going to do is you're just going to sort of mess with it and pull out curls until she looks the way you want her to look. Make sure that you pull out some in the back. So that you can't see where the cap is. And sort of on the sides here. Again, you can use a rat tail comb or a spoolie, because I don't want to pull out too much, but just enough. Probably would pull out a little bit more than that, but you're getting the sense of what I'm doing. And then I'm pulling out some of these so that they'll kind of spill over the headband. Some days I can get Jamila up into a headband super quick and she looks so cute, and then some days it takes me a while because the curls, for anybody who's ever had curly hair, you know, they just have a mind of their own. But that is one great way. So if you want to try, and I'll tell you guys, I'm not thinking that she's working that well for me today, but trust me, I've got pictures of her out there when I've worn her in an updo and she looks just super adorable. But if you want to try a curly wig and you're just really not sure if you can do curls, maybe you have never had curly hair and you really want curly hair, then just keep in mind that you'll be able to do some styling. A headband is a really, really great way to kind of dip your toe into curly wigs. Maybe don't start off with one quite this curly. Girl mono could be a good one because that one isn't quite this curly and you can still do a similar thing with it, but you will be able to find a way to make it work if you can't wear it just down all by itself. So curly wigs, I really think, are a great option for styling and updos. You can take a bunch of claw clips and kind of make it so that, you know, the hair is a little bit more on the top of your head just by strategically placing some clips and things. And it could also be really fancy wedding hair really, really easily. So definitely consider a curly wig. Let's move on. All right, the final wig I want to show you is a long wig. So I have on Lachlan by Aesthetica. This is a really super long wig that doesn't have any poof. There's not any permatease in this one. It's super, super flat to the head. And so a long wig can be so great to wear with hats. Now, I'm only going to show you a baseball cap, but you can wear this with stocking caps and beanies, and just about any kind of hat that you can imagine will work great with a wig like this. A baseball cap, and actually I wore this one with another wig that was a lot poofier than this. So I have to actually cinch this in a little because it doesn't have any permatease. So you can take a baseball cap and just, if you brush a little bit of the hair here back, it won't be so heavy hanging in the front. And I love, love, love wearing baseball caps, and I miss them. I don't wear them very often because I get so hot in just wigs. Just let's stick another layer on my head, please. But I do love baseball caps, and so I think a wig like this can be great with a baseball cap. You can take and you can braid. My earring is stuck. You can braid them into little pigtails if you want. You can take the wig into the back. If you don't like the look of it down, you can pull the wig back, and I would just, you know, work on leaving just a little bit out on the sides to sort of disguise that right there if you don't have bio hair to blend in. If you have bio hair, by all means, use it. But then just put a low pony in, and then you can wear it like that. This is another where this will come in handy because, you know, if I pull out some, I can shorten them. Lachlan does actually have some great face framing, where's my comb? Face framing layers. So if I worked slow enough, I could pull out a couple of those shorter face framing layers. This one might not have as many short pieces. I know it does. I've seen them. But let's just say you can't find the short pieces. You can take that thinning razor and you can just cut a little bit, and it won't wreck it for just regular wearing. So don't think that if you do that, then you're stuck always wearing a ponytail, because you're not going to cut that much out. You're just going to cut a little tiny bit to give you the framing to disguise the cap. So keep that in mind. Let's see how this looks. And then you'll want to, like, you can see my bio hair right here. So I would just have to work to pull some of that down, maybe cut a little bit of baby hairs on the sides. But what I'm cutting when I do that are underside layers. So like I said, if you don't always want to wear your wig in a ponytail and you end up doing a little bit of that, it's an underside layer that you're cutting and the rest of the hair is going to cover it. So it's not going to cause you any issues at all, I promise. But this is a great option for a super long wig that doesn't have a lot of poof. I do find this more difficult to do with a wig that has a lot of permatease. So Aesthetica makes a wig called Ocean, and that one is not as long as this one, but it's a longer one, and it's got a little bit of wave to it. I have a review of Ocean. That one has a ton of permatease, and that one is a little bit harder for me to wear in a baseball cap. You sure can, but I find that it makes it seem poofy on the top, and I don't like the look as much. So keep in mind, you know, a longer wig with a lot of permatease is harder to style. Those wigs I would, you know, definitely feel comfortable doing like clips and kind of clipping hair up. That's all fine, but it becomes harder to put wigs into ponytails and things like that when you have a lot of poof to work around. So if you end up getting a long wig that's got really very little permatease, it's kind of the sky's the limit. Now it's all about your skill and how good are you at putting wigs into updos, into, you know, you can do a top knot with a wig like this, which I can't even begin to show you how to do, but you know, a top knot, there's so much you can do. The biggest challenge is where is your bio hair and how much of it shows when you're wearing a wig, and then coming up with the strategies to hide that bio hair. And that is a long wig. I mean, again, you could do braids, ponytails, half up, half down, you know, one braid. There's so much you can do with them. Don't feel like you're limited to the style that it comes in. So that's a long wig. Let's move on. Okay, everyone, so I've shown you a few different ways of styling some different wigs of different lengths. At the end of the day, I think the purpose and the whole point of this video is to just get your brain working, get the creative juices flowing, and help you to start thinking of wigs as true extensions of you. And you can do whatever you can imagine with a wig. There are challenges to overcome. Permatease can pose a challenge, but it can also be a blessing with certain styles. Wig cap, how it fits you and the coverage you get can be challenges, but there's ways to overcome it. And I want to encourage you to get out and search for styling videos. You know, go watch how someone styles a human hair and then see if you can adapt that to wearing a wig. Thinning a wig, trimming a wig, cutting in bangs, all of those things are a little bit beyond the scope of this comprehensive video, but know that those are all, I believe, skills that every one of us should be striving to be better at. Because when you see a wig that is at a good price, there may be some things about it that aren't perfect that you can work on. And I talked about it in one of my last videos where I had said there are certain things that can't be overcome easily, but everything else can be. If a wig doesn't have bangs, that can be overcome super easily. Unless it's curly, that might be more challenging because the curls may affect how they lay. A wig that has too much hair in the front, it's really easy to sort of thin out the front. And I say easy, meaning it doesn't require going to school and learning a skill. You may have to work on it, you may have to practice, but it can be really useful to do that. A wig that the color is wrong for you, depending on what's wrong with the color, that can be relatively easy to fix as well. I have a video where I show how I added low lights to a blonde wig because it wasn't rooted and was a little bit too blonde for me. So I used a Copic marker and added rooting and low lights. I've done that in multiple videos. This color right here is one that I would typically root. It's Aesthetica's 30, 28, 26. They do have a rooted version, and I prefer that. And I have a video where I show me making sage my own by adding some rooting. I also trimmed the lace, I plucked the part, and I thinned just very slightly on the sides and made her my own. So at the end of the day, please know wig wearing is a journey, and it can be challenging in the beginning, but the more you understand you're in it for the long haul and that there's so many possibilities, I think the easier it will become and the more joyful it will become. You won't feel so stuck. And then you can really lean into it. So let me know if you guys have questions. Again, I will add Tip Tuesdays for different skills that I want to teach specifically that I get questions about. But for the most part, I hope this just kind of made you start thinking about wigs a little bit differently and gave you some courage to try some things. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really love you guys, and I hope to continue to help you and that we can both just experience this together. I'll talk to you soon.